Mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
To infinity and beyond.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Good morning. It's Friday morning here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK 98.9 FM and 1350 AM. We're at 989 WOYK on the stream. You can find us 989WOYK.com anywhere you go. And all brought to you by our presenting sponsors today. Stein & Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street, New York, where their primary areas of focus are estate planning, estate administration, stuff that we do as Main Street Yorkers every day, right? Family law, divorce and custody, elder law, municipal law, military law. They take care of that for the people walking off Main Street, York, and they are ready to help you today. Stein & Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street, New York. Check them out and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. And our other presenting sponsor, Kindness Worldwide. What are you going to do to bring more kindness into your workplace today, or your home, or your community, or whatever you might be working on? Find them at kindnessworldwide.org with some ideas on how to do that. But the question that we ask all the time, three of them, why not you, why not us, why not now? Kindness is free, and the world's greatest superpower, kindnessworldwide.org. We have our question up the day of the day today, and the question is, I was reading the other week, and we're going to be talking about it with Ted Check this morning at 6:35, the death of newspapers. We have the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette going down, the most recent one here in Pennsylvania. And my question is, where do you go, and this is a Gary Sutton Show on Facebook, where do you go to find the news that you trust? Is it radio? Is it TV? Is it a specific station, specific network? Is it a podcast? Is it newspaper still? Is it something else? I want you to answer that this morning and give us your thoughts on that by going to Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. And again, for some of you who decide you want to be the wittiest, most sarcastic person in the world, save it. It gets lost on me, okay? I love when people give straight answers and what they really think. We have one guy that comes in on Facebook that thinks he's maybe the Will Rogers of the 2026. He's not. And so just, keep it to a little bit of truthfulness there, a little bit of civility and all that. It'd be nice. This guy's kind of a troll, and he goes around and kind of has to comment on everybody else's stuff. And just give a comment and, be a human being. Be a nice person. Be kind. Right? Anyway, we got all that going on today. You can find us at Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and right here on the radio. So we're looking forward to having a good morning with you. You can text us throughout the show at 833-478-4729. And in that text, you could also talk about where you go to find the most trusted news, the stuff that you really say, okay, that sounds to me like that's right. Where do you go for that? Or do you go to an array of places? That's something else you can check out there today, too. You can also go to @Gary Sutton on YouTube and WOYK on YouTube to get a replay of our show on podcast later on in the day. Gary Sutton with you, Mark McKenzie, on a morning where it is 2 degrees right here on Brooks Robinson Plaza. It is National Fun at Work Day, which here it's Friday. I mean, it's like every day. It's like that. National Fun at Work Day. I know Mark's having a lot of fun this morning. 9 days to the Super Bowl, 15 days to Valentine's Day.
I happen to notice that it kind of shocked me a little bit, but Brooks isn't moving.
No.
I think he's frozen stiff.
Yeah, he's stiff. Yeah, he's not happy. He's out there, Brooks Robinson statue out here, not happy.
Just frozen. Is that not moving at all?
Well, I'll tell you how bad it was. The two kids standing there getting his autograph went home. It was that bad. I mean, they just left and went home, and Brooks was there by himself. So, if you're looking at the statue today, it's two kids. They left. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, just a little fun, little humor here.
Little humor
at the statue's expense, but Brooks Robinson, my all-time favorite baseball player, by the way. Just in case. What other things do we have going on today?
I just wanted to mention that last night, one of the great couples in movies.
Okay.
When you think about, actors and actresses who work together, like Bogey and Bacall, John Wayne and
Maureen O'Hara.
Yes. Okay. When I say this one, it may surpass both of those, I think.
How about Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan?
Well, did they do more than one?
Oh yeah.
Did they two?
You've got Mail. And they did the
That was
Harry
Tom
Met
Hanks.
Sally. Yeah. Oh, that was Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
It's right. Yeah.
How about
What was
this?
that? What was that referee one? Was that the same one? Was that the?
It could be.
When Harry Met Sally. I don't know.
Yes. How about this one? How about this couple? Jimmy Stewart and June Allison.
No. Doesn't ring a bell.
It doesn't ring a bell.
I know who Jude Allison is. I know who Jimmy Stewart is, but I never thought of the two of them together. I never watched
Are you kidding me?
I wasn't around then. I wasn't that old.
Well, I wasn't either, but
Apparently, though,
the Glenn Miller story, they did several movies together.
Fine.
I just happened to watch a little bit of one last night on Turner Classic Movies, and they were in. I watched it because it was early. It was black and white. I don't think I ever saw them in a movie together that was black and white, and it was the Monty Stratton story.
Oh, the pitcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, who I guess lost his leg and ended up getting it replaced and staying in the game anyway. Frank Morgan, it was his last picture.
The guy who was the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Yeah.
He almost didn't even look like himself. It was
Really?
like, wow, he must... And then I looked, they have this neat little feature where you can look up the actors in that movie. And he died at some point in the year that movie came out. Anyway, moving along. It is one of my... It's Yodel for Your Neighbor's Day.
I knew.
So
I saw this. I was hoping
stick
that
your
you would
head out the
bypass it.
window and...
Just don't do it in a right to carry state, okay? I mean, I really think you probably don't do it in front of the ice people. Don't do any of that. Yeah, just if you yodel, be ready to pay the consequences of.
Can you yodel?
I can, but I'm not going to do it.
Why not?
There's a lot of things I can do because it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. I also can do the Tarzan yell, which is also obnoxious.
It's just allegedly then.
Oh, jeez. You have a big horn too that you lay out your window and to do the
Ricola.
I know. Thank you.
Not the same thing.
You had to be there.
Food holiday of the day.
Okay. All right.
I think
you
you
sound
actually,
excited about this.
Well, because I think you already took part.
Okay.
Because I think I noticed that was your breakfast.
My breakfast sandwich.
Yes. Now, it was not a bagel.
It's a croissant.
And it's croissant day.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating?
Croissant. You have to let it kind of hit up at the top of your back of your nostrils. A croissant.
Croissant.
Yeah, you don't really say the T. You just you sound very cool saying that. Now, if you're in Alabama, it's croissant. But here in the cultured area like here in New York, it's croissant.
It's one of the few things where you can say it like the language, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like
sure.
where sometimes people you'll
tortured.
You'll see someone with a name that has normally an accent, so they overpronounce it.
Right.
And croissant isn't like that. So.
It's like people who say niche instead of niche. It's a niche. It's a niche.
Well,
okay.
Niche is okay.
Niche.
I don't mind that.
Well, we sound so much more cosmopolitan.
I'm going to tell you, croissant. They make
New England fans say niche.
Yes.
That's what they because they're kind of hoity-toity.
We are.
Yeah. Pass the latte. Give me a croissant.
My best croissant story is. Excuse me.
I noticed how you went right by that again. But
I did.
I know.
It's
okay. It's all right. You're not going to stay there.
What is it? I always want to call. It's not Liberty Diner. What is it called?
Liberty Diner?
Not Liberty. I always forget the name.
Capitol Diner?
No, it's the one with the metal.
Why do you go in this if you don't?
Anyway,
have the answer?
I forget. Anyway,
Go ahead.
I went in and I always order a BLT, or I usually order a BLT.
Right at this diner whose name we don't know.
And she says, Linden Diner. There we
Linden
go.
Diner,
Linden
yeah.
Diner. There we go. And
One in York, one in Lancaster.
yes, and I knew it began with an L, but I always, for
Very
some
good.
stupid
You
reason,
got
I
one
think-
letter right out of the whole name.
And
Go
one
ahead.
time she says, "What kind of bread would you like?" And I said, "Well, what are my choices?" And she went through, all the usual wheat, white, blah blah blah. And then she
Sourdough?
says, if we still have some, she says you can also have it on a croissant. And I go, what? What? That sounds great.
Yeah.
And they did have it, and it was amazing, and that's how I order it today. Croissant day. Make sure you take part. Now,
Boy, did we ever beat that up?
isn't that the
Yeah,
truth?
oh, gosh.
All right, so there's more fun to come.
Go ahead.
Like on this date in 1661, all right, it's just in case you think that, stupid things didn't happen a long time ago. They were too busy trying to live and survive.
Right.
Because, they didn't have time for stupid things.
Right.
Well, everybody knows who Oliver Cromwell is, right?
Correct.
He was the Lord
Roundheads.
Protector of the Commonwealth of England.
Yep.
And he had died in 1659.
Right.
So on this date in 1661, they ritually executed him.
Talk about kicking a man while he's down.
They couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
No, we have to execute him, even though he's already dead.
That's something we would do today. I mean, that sounds like today's world.
On this date in 1835,
Roll him over and kill him again. Really?
Richard Lawrence had, he wanted to kill President Andrew Jackson, and he did try. It was the first attempted assassination of a U.S. president, but it just was not his day, thankfully. He tried to kill Jackson, President Jackson. He had not one gun, but two. They both misfired.
Wow.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
Was Jackson, what happened to him?
I don't think he even got wounded.
Jackson was kind of a nasty guy. I mean, his name was Old Hickory. I mean, come on.
He probably beat the guy up. Anyway, but they obviously, since we know Lawrence's name, I'm assuming that they caught him. And
They used his middle name?
they did not.
Yeah, that's one of the few times you ever heard of a would-be assassin not get his... Probably because the gun didn't go off, so he didn't get the middle name added.
On this date in 1948, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated.
That was unbelievable.
It was.
You're talking about a man of peace. There he was.
In the garden of his New Delhi home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cold.
Yeah. Ben, what was the guy's name that played Mahatma Gandhi? Ben...
Yes. Ben... you're going to make me look it up.
I'll think about it. But, yeah. But he did a great job with Gandhi. He was probably more Gandhi than Gandhi was. It was
Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, who also played a great part in Schindler's List. I mean, he's been in some magnificent movies.
So those are pretty serious stuffs
They are.
there. But on this date in 1975, when I say this guy's name, you're going to know. He's got one of those names that's just associated with what he did.
Okay.
Erno, not that name, not his first name. Erno Rubik.
Oh, the Rubik Cube.
He patented his magic cube invention.
Yeah.
And of course, we all now know it as Rubik's Cube. You ever see kids figure that thing out?
We
in
went
seconds?
to a dinner one night with a couple, and my friend, he was married to this lady who had this daughter who was a brainiac.
Okay.
And they sat at dinner. I mean, this girl couldn't carry on a conversation because she had a Rubik's Cube in her hand the entire time. And the whole time we sat there, it was Christmas Eve, I think. The whole time we sat there, it was down at the Accomack.
Oh, I remember
This
that.
girl is putting together the Rubik's Cube back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I wanted to strangle her. I mean,
Well,
I
wait a
really
second.
did.
So
And,
she was solving it?
figuratively, not literally. Yeah, but just kept on like with her hands. I mean, the girl was brilliant, but she had she had the personality. Your wall over there had more personality than she did, and the ability to converse.
Probably like Asperger's syndrome or something.
And the one lady at the table was trying to talk to her, and okay, fine. But then she goes off with her Rubik's Cube back and forth, and the parents didn't do anything about it. I mean, I sat there wanting to slap them. And, I was getting very violent that night. I was sitting there going, this is really obnoxious.
You should have yodeled at her.
Yeah, if I'd have yodeled at her, that
Yodel, what are you doing over
Stop
there?
It. Twit. Oh, my God. Oh.
Hey,
anyway.
How about some birthdays?
So
next?
take your kid. If your kid has a Rubik's Cube, you want to take a dinner, take it away, throw it, do something, get it out of there. Yeah. Okay. I just thought I'd get that off my chest.
And puzzles while you're at it.
Oh, and puzzles while you're at it, or any Pictionary games, Yahtzee. I don't care what you got. Toss it. Toss it. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more coming your way here on the Gary Sutton Show this morning. I have to take a bite of my croissant. We'll be right back.
little low.
Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on
hear
WOYK.
that?
Phil Collins. I hear it. It's a little low, though.
It is a little low. Out of all the songs I could have picked, it's that one.
For anybody that stutters, it's a great song.
Yeah, it's Sussudio.
Studio?
It is birthday time. It is Phil Collins' birthday.
Right.
And it's kind of sad because there was a story, I guess, within the last
Just
week.
read this.
Yes, he's got like kidney problems, and he had 5 knee surgeries.
Yeah.
And not doing.
He looks really old.
He requires 24-hour medical care.
Wow.
So at least to keep track of him.
I just seen a thing recently came up on my music of him on stage doing the song he had done with Phil Bailey of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and She's an Easy Lover.
Easy Lover, yeah.
And he was doing with a couple other people. It was really good, but you could see he was a little bit older, but he was doing okay. Still sounded like Phil Collins, and
I don't think he performs anymore. He's 75.
Well, by the way,
Christian Bale.
Yeah. Okay.
Actor. Pretty good actor.
One of the Batmen.
Yes. 52.
He's played some odd roles along the way, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys where he will do almost anything.
Yeah.
To, like when he played Dick Cheney, I think he put on weight.
I did.
Yeah. So, it's hard to do those kinds of things.
There was one movie he was a magic guy. He did magic, and I forget what the name of that one was. I had watched
American Psycho is probably one of his most famous ones, and that's he was a psycho. Another actress, Vanessa Redgrave.
Oh, yeah.
Is 89 today.
One of the two sisters, Lynn Redgrave, is her sister. Vanessa Redgrave was in a make-of back in the 60s, I think about 69, in a remake of Camelot with Richard Harris. She was in that, and
She was also had a sister, Jolie, who was married to Liam Neeson.
There it is.
And she died.
Yeah.
It's tragic there.
Beautiful lady.
And one more birthday to mention, and I only mention it because he's such a good role. Charles Dutton.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Dutton. He had his own TV show for a while. He was a good actor in the 90s, but maybe most known, I don't know, as the groundskeeper in the movie Rudy.
Yeah.
And giving him some of the best advice, that talk that they had on the field. And Charles Dutton, 75 today.
Yeah, and played some mostly serious roles all the time, but he was a very, very good actor. You're right, exactly right. I liked him.
Those are the only birthdays I'm going to mention today.
That's it, huh?
I think 4's enough.
That's all we're getting.
And they were all actors.
Yeah.
Well, 3 actors. Well, I think Phil Collins played himself in a couple of movies. So, yeah, they're technically all actors.
Well, apparently the Senate last night, late, reached a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security for just 2 weeks as lawmakers raced to pass a significant spending package in an effort to avoid a partial government shutdown. The lawmakers aimed to kick the rest of the government's annual funding bills over to the House of Representatives. The Senate did not vote to advance them. The chamber will reconvene today at 11 a.m., according to the Senate press gallery. Though the agreement reached Thursday doesn't guarantee a partial government shutdown won't still happen. It did mark a big step forward in the latest political fight that's embroiling Washington and jeopardizing services Americans rely on, such as the TSA and Head Start programs. Senate Democrats in recent days have demanded a DHS spending bill be stripped from the broader package, while they work out reforms to the agency after a second Minnesota killing by the federal agent, Mr. Preddy, over the weekend. The deal represented a big win for Democrats, who have been uniformly pushing for widespread reforms to President Trump's immigration program. So we'll see what happens with that. Doesn't guarantee there won't be a government shutdown, but it does look like it's a step in the right direction, Mark.
So I don't know if you're planning on watching this, but a new documentary premiered last night. And let me give you a little preview.
Here we go again.
The First Lady's feature film, Melania, hits theaters. Melania Trump was on an all-out blitz this week leading up to the main event, and her message has been consistent, as she tells Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo. She really wants people to see what goes into the job of being First Lady of the United States.
What she's involved in and how serious a job is.
Mrs. Trump said she spoke to her agent and negotiated the deal with Amazon, which is the highest paid documentary ever with a price tag of $40 million. The film offers a rare behind-the-scenes look at the 20 days leading up to the 2025 inauguration. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Yeah, 75 million. They paid 40, and then they did a 35 million. And I hear ticket sales aren't that great. So.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know. We'll see we'll see what happens with it, but I haven't heard anything about it yet, other than just the fact that she and the president were out at the premiere of that the other night.
At the Lincoln Center.
Yeah, and one of the things she said, I'm an immigrant. She talks about that a little bit too. So here's a sad story. Lou Holtz, the college football Hall of Fame coach who led Notre Dame to the 1988 national title, has entered hospice care, according to ABC.
How old is he?
I'm trying to look here and see how 89. He's 89 now. He was at the helm of the Fighting Irish from 1986 to 1996, leading the team to a perfect 12-0 season in the national championship in 1988. He compiled a 249, 132, and 7 college record, 651 win percentage during 33 years as a coach. He finished his career with a 12-8-2 bowl record. He also coached at William and Mary, 69-71, North Carolina State, 72-75, Arkansas, 77-83, Minnesota, 1984-85, and he also served as New York Jets head coach in 1976. He took 2 years off after coaching Notre Dame before taking his final job at South Carolina.
That's what I remember.
1999 to 2004. He would go on to serve as a college football analyst for ESPN from 2004 to 2015. And was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008 and honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Donald Trump in 2020. So Lou Holtz now on hospice care. Yeah. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got Ted Check. Let's talk about the death of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the latest newspaper to go down the tubes. And my question this morning up at Gary Sutton's show on Facebook was, where do you go to get the most trusted news? Maybe we could ask Ted about that this morning as well. And, a little bit more about newspapers and why they're going down. He used to write for a newspaper. He now is an author, Saving the Beast. That's out there on Amazon right now. He's also the information officer for York County. And he's up next on the Gary Sutton Show, where it's 6:35. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. We're at 6:36 on a Friday morning. Gary Sutton, Mark McKenzie with you here, and kind of ready to move it on right now with Ted Check this morning, who is the information officer here in York County, but he also is the author of Saving the Beast. That's right. Saving the Beast is a book that's out there on Amazon right now. A recovering reporter reflects on America's broken media and how to fix it, the beast being the media, and saying, how do you fix that? He's got a lot of great thoughts on that in the book. And, of course, he was a reporter here in the York papers for a while, which I saw are combining together now. Also, we've talked a lot about newspapers lately. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette went down here recently. Ted is also the intelligence officer, the information officer here for York County as well. He might be the intelligence officer, too. I don't know if he's in charge of that or not, but he joins us here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, Ted. How are you?
Gary, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know if I'm intelligent enough to be the intelligent.
Oh, I don't know. You don't sell yourself short. But anyway, it's great to have you on here on a Friday morning. So, I was sad. I saw the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette going down after how many years? It's been around for a while. And
like 250 maybe? Somewhere in that.
Insane.
Definitely over 200.
Insane number. But, when you look at it, so many papers have gone that way, and we see papers combining now and turning into weekly papers instead of daily papers. And the amount of coverage you get anymore is just really hard because they can't afford to pay reporters to go out and do the kind of stuff you had to do at one point in time. So what's going on here?
Well, a lot of changes. We're in the midst of a kind of a paradigm shift, if you will. Newspapers were very slow to get online.
Right.
When the what used to be known as the World Wide Web, when that came out, they some of them saw it as a tool or as an accessory, but they didn't see it as anything that they really needed to put a lot of resources and a lot of time and effort into.
Right.
They were slow to get online. And then once they got online, there was a whole debate as to whether they should charge people to view their content or not. So the industry was very very haphazard and not unified in that regard. And I just think back to when I was in school for journalism, and we looked at the history of things. And so when radio came out, people said, "Oh, it's the death of the newspaper. Radio's going to kill newspapers," and that didn't happen. Same thing with TV. TV came out, and it's the death of the newspaper. That didn't happen.
Right.
So I think that's the way that newspapers approached the internet was, it's just it's a passing fad, or it's going to be a small thing, but it's not going to kill us.
And it did.
But I think it kind of yeah. I mean, every newspaper is online now as well, and so we're seeing people who are probably like 60. And above, they like the tangible newspaper they can hold in their hands. And anybody younger than that is, just wants to go online. So we're going to see, when all those people die, we're going to see that there's going to be no need for a physical paper.
When I was walking through the grocery store yesterday, and it was funny because I looked at the newspaper. It was on the rack yesterday. I looked at it like you look at a strange animal you haven't seen in a while. And that's what happened because I never use newspapers in my hand anymore. I used to. And now, Mark used to see me walking in. I'd have 2 or 3 newspapers in my arms. He'd have a couple newspapers. And now, I go to the web, and I got all these. And what happens is I come to one that says, you got to pay to get on this. And I go, if I don't feel like paying for it, I'll go find it some other way and go around the back door. And there's 2 or 3 other sites I can go find. And so there's so many other ways of getting it now that the newspapers kind of become almost an afterthought to a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I mean, even TV stations. See, TV stations, they got on the internet, so they because I deal with them, day in and day out. They have staff members who just work online. They're not on-air talent. They just generate news for the website. So TV has kind of adopted the newspaper-ish, kind of side of things.
Right.
And then newspapers try to get more into video and things like that, but I don't know. It's worked well for some papers, but maybe not for others. So yeah, and all the TV stations, they make their money off their ads on TV, so they don't need to charge for their websites.
Right.
Yeah, that's the conundrum.
And that's it. Yeah. The interesting thing, I was looking at the local paper here, like the York Daily Record and the Dispatch. They're getting ready to combine up because, again,
they've done it.
They've done it. And so, in fact, I tried to actually go buy a subscription yesterday, but they're combining on their websites. You can't even buy a subscription right now, so you have to wait until after February 3rd or whatever. But bottom line was, they used to cover everything. Now, they still have some reporters that cover, and they do a decent job. They really do. But you don't have the kind of attention to, things like sports and stuff anymore. You have people covering games and things. They don't have any of that for the most part. And then you got a lot of stories being purchased from other places like the AP and so forth to put in there to take up space, which I guess is okay. But the model is kind of fading fast. And so what's replacing all that now? What are people turning to, if not to the newspaper, and if not finding it online? In the case of Post-Gazette, it's kind of going away.
Well, yeah. So let me, if I can go back a little bit. When I was a reporter, we at one point, and I started in York in 1999.
Okay.
At the Dispatch, and I was there until 2004. When I was moved over to the Record, when the person or the company that owned the Dispatch and the Sunday News bought the Record, and then moved the Sunday paper over to the Record, and then it was kind of an afterthought. I made the Record, my flagship paper. I think I need more people now.
Yeah.
So 13 of us, and Scott Fisher, who I respect, I love the guy. He wrote a column. He's the executive editor of the YDR now.
Just saw him last week. Yeah, good guy.
He said it was 19 people. There was a phrase or a tagline for us. We were called the D13. So I thought there were 13 of us. But anyway, we got moved over. It was crazy because I got a phone call. I don't even know who it was from. But the person said, well, your job is moving from the Dispatch to the YDR. Are you going? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I need to get paid.
Right.
But anyway, so from 2004 on until 2021 when I left, I worked for the YDR. But I've seen in that time, we had a bunch of, we had a cadre of stringers, what they're called.
Yep.
They're called stringers or freelancers, and they would cover all the local news. That went away, with budget cuts.
Yeah.
That all went away, and so the local coverage pretty much ceased to exist. And that's really the bread and butter of local newspapers.
Back in the day, and I can't even remember when I stopped doing it or why I stopped doing it, but it was I used to do. Did a story, did a column each week at the Dispatch, and I enjoyed writing that. I'd find something that was interesting, and I would talk about it, and I'd write it in the newspaper. So I did that for a little while. I was never a very good writer. I don't think. It's. The old reverse triangle, I was not that great at it, but the
inverted pyramid.
The inverted pyramid, yep. And but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed trying to, and then the guy would edit and say, okay, here's what it is. I think it was who was the guy there? Conley. I think his name was Conley. Yeah, good guy. Okay. But
Dan Conley.
Dan Conley. Yeah, and Dan would
I know Dan.
He would critique me, and I kind of felt bad for him. But anyway, I want to ask you a question this morning because I put this out on my question today on Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. Where do people go now to get news they trust? Which is a little bit different subject than what we're on here, but where do you go? Like, you're a newspaper guy or a reformed newspaper guy. Where do you go to get the news that you really trust? Is there any one place, TV, a specific place on TV or radio or podcasts or the web, some other place? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely online for sure.
Right.
I never have the TV on and I'm looking at news. Although when you're online, you catch
snippets,
clips of newscasts,
right,
and things like that. I mean, I'm going all over. As a public information officer, I kind of have to. I feel it's my obligation, to scour the web in all sorts of places and corners and everything. To look at a wide swath of what's out there. So we have 4 TV stations and several newspapers here locally. So I'm definitely looking at all of those.
Right.
and a lot of them call me up, and we do interviews, things that are related to emergency management and 911. I do interviews for them. I try to make myself as available as I can for them. It's part of my job. So
it's an array of stuff that you have to. I think that's the answer. I think for all of us now, because I don't trust one thing and if someone comes out with a story and it sounds like they know way too much, they probably don't know enough. And I end up going out and looking at 2 or 3 or 4 other stories before I say, okay, well, I think this might be what happened, because it's tough to trust one place right now. In the old days when I was growing up, you had 3 TV stations. They all said the same thing. So you go, okay, that must be the news.
Yeah.
But now there's such an array of sources that you have. As a citizen, as a consumer of news, you really have to go out and do your homework on a regular basis every single day, don't you?
Right, and so that's critical thinking. We're using our brains, and in one sense, it's advantageous to have a lot at your disposal. It can seem overwhelming at times, but different perspectives and different different outlets, can lead. It's competitive, and but also, you have to be critical in the way that you approach it.
That's a great point.
Sure. And I think, times have changed. We've talked about this before, about a kind of a loss of innocence that has happened over the decades, where the American public doesn't just believe everything that they hear in the media.
That's the biggest danger, is if you buy one place, if you go to one station, you say, this is what I'm believing. Okay, unless they have been proven to be right all the time, which I don't think anybody has. But if you say, that's all I'm believing, that's it. That's my one. Boy, you have narrowed your vision right there. Right. And like an ostrich, just put your head in the ground, and anything else is not going to penetrate you. I think that's a danger that we have right now with the blizzard of information that we have coming at us. And you're a guy that's an information officer. You know about that probably as well as anybody.
Well, and there are those people out there too that like an ostrich, they stick their head in the sand because they don't want. They're like, la la la, I don't hear anything, I don't see anything. They don't want to know what's going on out there because it's too much.
Yeah.
And
that's a great point.
They're and admittedly, they're very busy with their own lives, so they don't want all of this other noise, as you say, penetrating, because it's too stressful.
Something else.
The news can be very stressful.
Something else is interesting, though. You're an information officer for York County, so if you show up at a scene, you are the guy that people are kind of trusting to say, here's what's happened. Here are the people you need to talk to. Here's the information that we have. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, so you talk about cutting away all of the adverbs and adjectives and everything else. You're saying, here's what it is. And so people do have to try to trust you because you're the voice of what happened at that scene that have been designated by the county to speak on that, right?
Well, yes. Certainly reporters, do their due diligence, and
right.
they can follow up with me. Hey, what about this? What about that? What I'm disseminating is, to the best of my ability, what I have gathered to be the truth.
Yeah, there's no opinion. There's no extra flourish on it. Here it is. This is what we got.
Right. So, for example, just if I could, Gary, real quick, I responded to not too long ago an incident in Fairview Township, and so I worked with the police chief there, and he called me there to the scene, and I said, well, what is the message? What is it that you'd like to communicate? And we talked about it, and so he gave that to me. And so, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that is what I presented to the media gathered there.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, so it would be nice if we get back to news like that too, where we'd say, okay, here's what's happened. This is it. And then you hear that from everybody kind of saying, oh, okay, we're back to the old days. Everybody's saying the same thing, but we're not there anymore. It's through the eyes of politics. It's through the eyes of social, our social feelings. It's through the eyes of opinion. It's all that. And it's like going out on a giant Easter egg hunt and finding the one that doesn't treat it like that treats it like it's objective, going back to your whole purpose for writing the book, Saving the Beast, the recovery report reflects on America's broken media and how to fix it, which you can buy, by the way, on Amazon. Ted Check is the author, CZECH. Ted, great topic this morning. Thank you so much for your insights. Really good stuff.
Yeah, not a problem, Gary.
Have a
Anytime.
great week, my friend. We'll talk to you next Friday, okay?
Sounds great. I'll be there.
Ted Check, former reporter, now information officer here in York County. And, just a really good insight on that this morning. And newspapers having a tough time making it. You know, radio has suffered a lot over the years. A lot of industries have suffered a lot. But at the end of the day, you know, we want information, and we have a blizzard of it out there. It's just a matter of where do you go to find that which you trust. We'll take a break. We'll come back when we have more coming your way here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. It's a Friday morning, everyone. Yay! By the way,
I can show him everything you got.
is that Kiss? Yeah.
It was on this date. On this date.
This very date.
53 years ago. The
January
year
30th.
1973.
A day to remember.
And a mediocre rock band decided, you know what? If we paint our faces,
And we stick our tongues out.
maybe, just maybe, we might sell a few. Well, it was their first concert on this date. They made $50. There were like 10 people in the audience.
My.
Yes, but of course,
That changed.
you know what they do now?
Right.
They actually sold their not just their catalog. They sold the whole image thing.
Right.
So if there is in the future an AI version of Kiss, it's already covered.
Yeah.
It's already covered
Wow.
in their deal.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, I saw something this morning. It is now, by the way, officially 0 on Brooks Robinson Plaza. In fact, I'm just looking here. Oh, I'm sorry. It just rose to 1. I feel warmer already.
One.
Yeah, it's up to 1 now. It was 0 about 2 minutes ago. And Kevin was standing out there on Brooks Robinson Plaza. And Kevin Smith plays guitar. Do you know that?
I do know.
Yeah, I wonder if he ever painted his face when he played or anything. I can't see Kevin doing that, but we're going to have to ask him when he gets on here this morning about that.
And there's probably not an easier song to play than a Kiss song.
That's exactly
it's
right.
Like 3-4 chords, and that's about it.
But if you know Kevin, I mean, Kevin's kind of like a regular guy like
meticulous.
Us. Yeah, very meticulous and very well dressed always. But I can't see him in paint. I don't see that.
Well, here's the thing with that paint. You really can't imagine like what their face looks like.
Exactly, like Gene Simmons does not look at all like Gene Simmons looks in real life.
And let's just talk. I mean, rock star hair.
Right.
Gene Simmons has the worst hair.
He does.
It looks like a helmet. Like if you could, you know what? There's an idea.
Go ahead.
There's an idea. Sell a helmet shaped just like
Kiss hair.
Gene Simmons hair, not just anybody.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons. All right. So
we got a note, by the way, here this morning.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You have to share.
Oh, I have to share.
You have to share it. Yeah.
All right. So
he sent it to me, but I sent it on to Mark because you and Tim Barker are like kindred spirits on the music world.
A little bit.
So Tim Barker, our disc attorney, listening this morning, apparently to the show, and Mark brought up that Phil Collins, who's not in real good shape right now, was in a movie. Was in a movie, and it's his birthday. And I didn't know that. I'm not up in it.
It was just a throwaway because I don't even remember that.
Guess who is?
So here's the text. I guess it's okay for us to read this.
I think so.
It says, "Morning, Gary. Heard you and Mark discussing whether Phil Collins qualified as an actor. Phil Collins did act in film and TV back in the late '80s, early '90s. I best remember Buster." I couldn't think of the name Buster in 1988, where he played the lead role. He had 2 number-1 hits from that soundtrack, A Groovy Kind of Love. Who could forget that? And trust me, I've tried. But Two Hearts was a great song. I always liked that.
Two Hearts.
Yeah, it was up-tempo. It was kind of like a 60s feel to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Both those songs, by the way, I like them
The
both.
district attorney of York County writes on, as he was probably shaving, he dominated the radio airways during that time. Please, I won't bombard you anymore with inane trivia this morning. Take care. Have a great weekend. So,
but I love
Thank
that.
you.
We're not worthy. We are not worthy. I tell you, when it comes to music and him, and he can recite that rhyme and verse. I mean, I've been with him. He can do that stuff. So anyway, but that was interesting. I did not know any of that.
Yes,
as usual. By the way, if you got up this morning, Mark, and your car maybe didn't get started.
Oh, no, it started.
There are some car hacks out there. Because, a lot of us are...
pouring boiling water?
Oh, I'm telling you, wait a minute here. They got some new car hacks that are out here on social media, and they're going viral. Here are 3 car-focused ones that actually work, and 2 you should avoid.
Okay.
Number 1, using hand sanitizer to unfreeze door locks. Try it. In a pinch, hand sanitizer can help thaw frozen locks due to its alcohol content, which melts ice. Did not know that.
Me neither.
Pouring boiling water on a frozen windshield, avoid it. It's been going around on TikTok, but the extreme temperature shift can shatter your windshield.
Obviously.
I've seen it done. Not my own, thank God. Number 3, covering side mirrors with socks overnight. Socks. Try it. It might look a little silly, but it works. Putting socks on small plastic bags over your side mirrors stops frost forming overnight and saves time scraping in the morning, and makes use of those socks that your grandmother sent you over Christmas that you hate to wear, but now you got something you can use it for and a little color on the old car. Number 4, rubbing potatoes on your windshield to prevent frost. Avoid it. It's been a viral myth for a while. The starch might delay ice slightly, but it leaves a sticky film that's worse to clean than plain ice. And finally, number 5, socks again. Filling a sock with cat litter to stop foggy windows. Try it. Preferably clean cat litter.
Do I have to?
Try it. Silica-based cat litter draws moisture from the air, which can help keep your windows frost-free from the inside. Problem is, it also draws feral cats. There you go. Kevin Smith, just around the corner here on the Gary Sutton Show, where it is a Good Friday. Kevin has been, he's out there again, spreading kindness everywhere. And we're going to find out also if he plays his guitar and puts face paint on at the same time. All straight ahead. It is 7 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth. You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here. Hour number 2. A little technical difficulty this morning, so if you're missing out on some of our commercials and stuff, we apologize for that, but we're trying to correct it as quickly as possible. We'll blame it on, I guess we'll blame it on the cold, yeah. I always figure I'll blame it on the cold, the heat, or Trump. I figure I can cover all those in some way, shape, or form, you know. And so there you go. Or the Russians. The Russians they're hot. They're hot too on the blame scale. So we can get them in there. Iranians are moving up the list. They're up there now. So. And you know, if all else fails, blame Greenlanders. You know, they're out there causing problems all the time. Those pesky Greenlanders. You know, they just. I'll tell you what. I'm kidding. Good morning and welcome to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Little punchy here. It's a Friday morning. We can tend to do that as we have gone through an interesting week. All brought to you this morning by kindnessworldwide.org. All started with Kevin Smith losing his wallet. If Kevin Smith would not have been irresponsible and lost his wallet in a moment and had it returned, none of this, we could all sit around and be miserable together. We could all be curmudgeons like yesterday, right? But no, somebody had to return it, and Kevin reacted to that in all seriousness in a way that has really been positive for a lot of people, not just in this county and not just in this country, but in this world. And it's really branched out. We're going to talk to Kevin about that in a minute. But you can go to kindnessworldwide.org, as I'm talking over myself there in the background, kindnessworldwide.org. Also, our other presenting sponsor here is Einstein & Spartler. Attorneys at law located at 117 East Market Street. Phone is 717-846-8811. The hours are Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. They've been around since the 1940s. And they deal in all kinds of areas where you and I, people just walking off Main Street, York, can walk in and get help. They are ready to do that today. Give them a call today at 717-846-8811 and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. Don't forget, you can check out our podcast at WOYK on YouTube each day. Find our website, find our Facebook page right now, Gary Sutton Show, and I have a video question up there each day. Some people seem to like my hat right now that I'm wearing. This hat was a hat I got just before I left Edinburgh, Scotland. What's it called? And I forget what it's called. It's like a little bowler. It's not a bowler hat. It's I don't know what it's called. I never looked it up. But anyway, it's a nice hat. I'll look it up. And it looks good on me, too. It looks good on you, though. You know. You get a hat like that, you get a free bowl of soup. So I'm wearing that. But and also I haven't shaved for like a week and a half now. I'm trying to figure out if I like this idea of maybe a beard. Maybe it looks too old. It gets white and gray, so I may shave it off today. But I've been, anyway, all of that as I muse Trump-like here on the air out loud. And with that, we welcome in this morning Kevin Smith, who is the head of Kindness Worldwide. He probably sat here and bristled during the time. We beat him up so badly this morning in a nice way, but Kevin he's a very good guitar player. Don't know if he ever used paint in his face. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Gary. It's good to be with you on this frigid Friday morning, but see the good. We're one day closer to spring.
You stood the longest of anybody on Brooks Robinson Plaza so far this morning. You realize that?
And I live to tell about it.
And you live to tell about it. I told Mark, I said, when Kevin comes to the door, make sure you get over there and unlock it quickly because it is cold. 0. Now we're at 1. We're at 1 now, having a heat wave.
I was going to say, but it's a York County 1. It's not a Minnesota 1. There is a difference.
Thank you. There is a difference. And, I don't notice the wind blowing too badly this morning. That wind is what really, I was out in my garage last night making a pizza in my Ninja oven. And I walked out there to do this. And I opened the door just a little bit, to the garage door, just so the smoke goes up. I want to tell you what, I put my coat, my gloves on just to go out in the garage and stand next to this ninja and cook this pizza for my wife and myself. It was so cold last night. Oh, my goodness, it was crazy. I have to find someplace warmer. That's all it is.
Well, we could always move south.
There it is.
But then we would be leaving the home of kindness, York County, Pennsylvania.
Well, you know what? Now, there's the danger. There's the danger right there. So what's new? What's going on these days? I haven't talked to you in like a week. Your wife was here last Friday, and she was very good. I got to tell you, you were hanging by a thread. Mark had waivers out for you. We were putting out feelers, but no.
So I heard.
No, your wife did very, very well. She was very good. She's just a gracious, lovely lady.
Well, she did a wonderful job. I listened in, and she enjoyed it. And she's a natural. And many people commented, and really proud of her. It does seem like an eternity since I've been here. It's been a couple weeks, and of course I was in Orlando before that. But there's a lot going on. It's really hard to keep track. Everything's going at warp speed.
Yeah.
Things happening on so many fronts at the macro global level and also the local level. It's hard to even say where to begin. We have a number of ambassadors we're going to be announcing soon. One very prominent individual that many of you would know his films, who actually saw the film for such a time as this, was very moved by it. So that's coming. We're planning the K20 in Florida in May 14th to 18th.
Now, tell people what that's all about, because you hear it, and it sounds a lot like a government thing, which is kind of modeled after a little bit. But what's that going to all be about?
Well, think G20, which is your top 20 economic nations that convene and discuss economic issues, among other things. Well, think K20 is your top 20 kindness organizations and advocates from all over the world. Kindness Worldwide is a founding member. My good friend Alan Williams from the United Kingdom is like the architect behind it. We're brainstorming and collaborating. So the initial convening of the K20 is going to be at Florida Gulf Coast University in May. People from all over the world, from the World Kindness Movement to other organizations in the U.S. and beyond. And it's all about speaking with one voice for kindness and speaking with influence and having a shared vision, among which is to elevate kindness to the global shared value that represents all of humanity, which is also Kindness Worldwide's vision, by the way, and elevating Kindness Week Worldwide, bring it to more communities. So I think there's going to be some very prominent individuals there that are engaging. So that'll be the initial launch.
Do you see that as kind of is it a pep rally? Is it a workshop? Is it all of the above? A call to arms? How do you view something like that? Because it's something new that you're putting together based on kind of a geopolitical kind of setup, but it's not political at all. It's just the opposite.
Yeah, well, it's an opportunity to collaborate. I mean, there are a lot of organizations in the kindness space doing impactful work. Doing wonderful work, but, in a sense, kind of doing it individually. And there's so much opportunity to collaborate. And when we do that, we can share ideas and we can elevate the collective whole much greater than what we can do alone. And as you know, Kindness Worldwide is all about collaboration.
Right.
The foundation of the Kindness Week logo is a community collaboration. Well, what is a community? It can be a family. It can be a city, a town, a state, country, global community. So all convening together to collaborate, speaking with one voice, but also doing some community work. Bring the community together and doing some community projects in the spirit of kindness. There are some discussions. I think there's a decent chance we may have some governors attending and leaders who really are backing this movement. So those are in the works. But I think coming away from this, I do think it's going to get attention. There's going to be a lot of media presence locally in the Florida region, but I think beyond. And this movement is real. There is so much momentum behind kindness globally, in many cases sparked by, innocently enough, this one act of kindness of losing my wallet. By the way,
we kidded you about that.
That's okay, because many people tease a lot, and as my friends say, we tease because we love.
We do.
And so I feel loved a lot lately. Yeah. But many tongue in cheek say, Kevin, you lost your wallet, and I think you also lost your mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think maybe they're right, but there is a method to my madness.
Now, by the way, how did you lose your wallet that day? Did it just drop out of your pocket? Did you leave it on a counter? Did you? How did you do that?
Well, it's a great question.
I never asked you that question.
No, you never have. I'm not sure I know the answer. I can speculate a bit because I checked out from the grocery store and I drove straight home.
Right.
So when I got home, it wasn't in my wallet, so I knew, or wasn't in my pocket, so I knew I'd left it behind. what I sense is that I had a long sleeve shirt on, and I kind of thought I put it in my back pocket, that maybe it was my shirt was in the way and it just fell out.
Yeah.
Because I understand that Brooke Dubs, the young woman who found the wallet, returned it,
right,
that it was laying on the ground and right at the doorway. And so that's what I sense may have happened. And the irony is, when I was in Orlando at Podfest, for the screening of the film, we actually had dinner with Mike Asher Brainer, who's one of my ambassadors from Kentucky, and my brother-in-law Michael Binko, and several others. And we got up after paying the bill, and we're heading out, and I'm halfway out the door, and I reached my back pocket. My wallet wasn't there. And I went back, and it was laying on the seat of the table, and everyone looked at me. They thought I did it on purpose, and it was totally coincidental. Another funny story is when Mayor Helfrich issued the Proclamation of Kindness Week, the very first time in his office. And there's a scene of that in the film. It all happened live, and he went on air, and I left, and he comes running down. He said, "Kevin, you forgot this," and he thought I did it on purpose. So there seems to be a pattern of me not remembering my wallet. All I can say is, God help me if I lose it a second time. God help us all, actually.
Well, yeah. So what the heck movement's going to start there? I mean, you're going to be off the charts. You'll have us all. You got me busy every day on kindness all the time with all the stuff. So I mean, it's so if Kevin loses his wallet, immediately get it to him right away, and let it go at that.
Well, and I've said this many times, Gary, is that I lost my wallet that morning. What I found was priceless. It was my purpose, and this has been the most meaningful endeavor of my life. It's had its moments, many moments. There's a lot behind the scenes. This hasn't been easy, but it's important. It's necessary. So there's so much more in that content besides the money. But it's been very meaningful.
I want to come back after this break and want to talk to you a little bit about the film, because the film has garnered some new interest, and not just locally here. Again, you can check out locally by going to kindnessworldwide.org and have Kevin actually show you a private showing of that. If you want to get some friends together, or your church group, or whatever it might be, and you get a chance to see for such a time as this. But he was at Podfest last week, and guess what? Some stuff came out of that. We'll tell you about that when we return. Kevin Smith, who is the chief kindness chaser for Kindness Worldwide and also the purveyor of that, got it all started. He'll be back with more right after this on The Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. It is a Friday morning. Be kind to somebody out there today, will you?
Fox Sports Update.
While most were sleeping, the longest tennis match ever in the semifinals at the Australian Open took place. Good morning, I'm Jared Max. It lasted just under 5.5 hours to play 5 sets between Carlos Alcaraz and Alexander Zverev.
5 hours and 26 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
of centre court filled drama. Carlos Alcaraz has finally got to match point.
Moments of brilliance for Carlos Alcaraz. Secures a place in his very first Australian Open final. Epic and endurance-soaked battle.
Australian Open YouTube channel with the final point of a match that lasted an Australian Open semifinals record 5 hours and 27 minutes. Carlos Alcaraz outlasted Alexander Zverev in 5 sets to make his first Aussie Open final.
Physically, it was one of the most demanding, matches that I have ever played in my short career, I would say. I was passion, in the fifth set, but, just extremely proud about myself and the way that I fought and the way that I came back, in the fifth set.
Carlos Alcaraz will play for his first Australian Open title, the only Grand Slam he has not won. Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner have combined to win the last 8 Grand Slams. Sinner, who's won the last 2 years in Melbourne, playing in the semifinals today against 10-time Australian Open champ Novak Djokovic. NBA, Mavericks rookie Cooper Flagg scored a career-high 49 points, the most ever by an NBA teenager, but Flagg missed a potential game-tying shot as time ran out. Mavericks lost by 2 points to the Hornets. 5th straight win for Charlotte, which got 34 points from Cooper Flagg's college teammate at Duke, Con Kneppel. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
Jared Max is not Australian. So to say Australian, he's not Paul Hogan either. Not Crocodile Dundee. Come on, let's go. I got a little annoyed there with that Australian. You and I can't say Australian, Mark. We have to say Australian because we're American. Paul Hogan can say Australia. That's a knife. That's a knife.
I'd rather Euro.
I said, no. I didn't mean that. Sorry. Down boy. Anyway, welcome back to Gary Sutton Show here. Kevin Smith with us, Chief Kindness Chaser at Kindness Worldwide. Kevin, you were at Podfest in Orlando last week. And guess what? For such a time as this, your documentary is now being noticed by some of the festivals, and that's a pretty cool thing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, we got word yesterday that we got accepted into our first international film festival.
Wow.
And we hope it's the first of many. We submitted the film to all the major ones. We are going to refine, by the way. I mean, we're getting some feedback. The feedback's been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, people move to tears for many reasons. But it's always been my instincts that maybe we need to pare it back a little bit. It's an hour and 51 minutes.
We have that with this show, by the way. People move to tears for different reasons a lot of times. But go ahead. No.
Well, we're going to try to get it to 90 or less just to make it better. I think there's always room for improvement. And when you go into film festivals, it's all creatives, and they're looking for, different things and pace and all these things that we're learning. And so we're going to make some refinements. But the people who have seen this film are spreading the word. They're moved by it. And I mentioned earlier, there's a very prominent movie producer from L.A. who saw the film, genuinely moved, touched by it. He wants to be named an ambassador, so we're working on that announcement soon.
Good.
It's a name that I won't divulge too much, but if people don't know the name, they will know the films. He's produced 25 well-known films.
Very cool.
And doing wonderful work in the spirit of kindness, does a lot of philanthropic work. And so he was touched by the film, and he plans to join us at the K20, by the way, in Florida. So word is getting out. I just can't say enough about how proud I am of Elgin Cahill, the director.
Right.
And this is a low-budget film. I funded it my own. I mean, we just had limited resources.
Right.
It was all heart, limited resources. And yet what was produced, this film basically wrote itself. Just like this story. It took on a life of its own as we uncovered information, but it is getting attention, and it's gaining traction. And this film is a means to an end. It's a powerful film in a vacuum, but it's really a means to accelerating this movement, which is really spreading. It's really fascinating to see.
In this world that is so political right now, so tribal, so polar, and you've talked about that you used to look at those things and it kind of frustrated you, and then when you had this, it really kind of gave a new purpose. Do you find as you go around the country, as you go around the world, that people are yearning for kindness? Are they looking for it and maybe not quite sure what to do sometimes, even though there are people doing very concrete things, giving blood, raising money, providing food, doing things like that. And there's a lot of kindness around that I think people are just doing because they do it because they're kind. But do you find that people are yearning for a message more like that?
Absolutely, Gary. I mean, when people see this film, so many have commented, said, Kevin, we so need this right now. And the title of the film is For Such a Time as This. If there was ever a time in our world for a global movement like this, it is now, because people look around and they're frustrated. They see all the negativity. They see all the divisiveness and what I would call even a failure of leadership at all levels, in many levels, media, elected officials. Everyone could do better in the spirit of kindness. And there's so much divisiveness. And yet people don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to go about it. Well, this is a way to bring people together. And in this journey for years, I would vent and be frustrated like a lot of us would. And I would confide a lot with a good friend of mine. And Tony Fry's his name. And he would listen and nod his head. And he agreed with me. And he said, yeah, I hear you, Kevin. But he looked at me in the eye. He said, Kevin, I hear you, but what are you going to do about it?
Right.
And for many years, I felt, well, what can I do about it? And now I feel empowered to actually try to do something about it. And now people are coalescing because they see a path to at least remind everyone, yes, we can have differences and we can disagree, but we can do it with civility. And congratulations on your award, by the way. Well deserved. But so we can disagree better and we can be better in the spirit of kindness. And let's focus on what unites and coalesce around that. And let's, instead of looking at everything through a political lens, let's look at it through a lens of kindness. And that's actually solve problems instead of needing problems for, I would argue, selfish political purposes. I think we need to change the paradigm. And kindness is a lens, I think, through which we can see others and view the world differently and hopefully unite around something that everyone universally agrees upon.
Final thought today. It's a Good Friday. Every Friday's a Good Friday here on our show. And again, in a nod to Kindness Worldwide. What specific rubber meets the road kind of kindness thought would you give to people today to maybe try on here for next week? Something they can do to just express kindness above and beyond the call of duty, so to speak.
Well, number one, kindness is a choice. Just recognize the power we possess to be the change we wish for. But some little things are the big things. Treat someone something that they don't expect.
Okay.
Maybe it's it's cold outside. You're at a coffee shop. Treat their coffee. Hot chocolate. Maybe send a meaningful note to someone meaningful. I mean, we get so caught up in the busyness of day-to-day our lives or routines. Send a note to a former teacher, a coach, a mentor, a friend, someone who's made an impact in your life that you maybe didn't take the time to go the extra mile to ever let them know. How meaningful is that for someone to receive such a note, but also how meaningful it is to take the time to do that? Because that's important. That is a little thing that is so big in the scheme of things. These are all things well within our power and our control.
Good stuff today. Hey, thank you, my friend. Good stuff. Congratulations on the film. Looking forward to seeing some of the other places that start to pick it up with these festivals and so forth. The word getting out, the word is spreading. Kindness is the way to go. This is a Good Friday. Not the Good Friday, but a Good Friday. And that means gives us just a chance to kind of refocus on the things that we're doing for other people. Hey, there's lots of opportunities out there today. Be kind. Why not us? Why not now? That's the big question. KindnessWorldwide.org. Kevin, thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing you a little bit later on today.
Likewise, always a pleasure, Gary. Thank you so much.
Kev. Take care, and stay cool out there on Brooks Robinson Plaza, where it has now, by the way, dropped back to 0, just in time for you to go back outside. Kevin Smith here on the Gary Sutton Show, and of course, so thankful to Kevin to be one of our co-presenting sponsors here of the Gary Sutton Show right here on WOYK. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more right after this. Dr. ATN around the corner about wellness and one of the new machines they have there at York TMS Center. He'll tell you all about it here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Back right after this. Here's a guy that had so many different kinds of songs. One of the Ray, Billy Joel. I think he's one of the great American songwriters of all time, Mark. Billy Joel. By the way,
but does he yodel?
No, please.
Does he have a kazoo?
I'll pay. I'm serious. I'll pay money.
You know, there are these factors must be considered.
Yodeling and kazoo.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what. Take it to Gitmo. You'll get all the answers you ever want. I'm just telling you. Forget. People say, please, can you please waterboard us? Not yodeling, not the kazoo.
No,
waterboard us. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, welcome back. I'm being a little dark humor there, but Ann Smith, by the way, why Kevin Smith was in here. Ann Smith, his wife, who was here last week, lovely lady, wrote, "Good morning, Gary. You'll be shocked to know that Kevin loves to play 80s heavy metal. Ask him if he can play Eddie Van Halen Eruption. Not something you would probably expect from him, and I get the pleasure of listening to that for hours sometimes." And she has a thing with tears and LOL. So there you go. Although that was on there this morning.
Have you ever heard of Eruption?
I probably, if I heard it, would know it. Is that it? Now, can you see Kevin Smith playing that, Mark?
Well, I have no...
Get the face paint.
I'm assuming he has the talent to be able to do that.
Get the mohawk on.
But it's got little to do with what you look like.
I know, but being the profiler that I am on that regard,
I see.
You know, I'm just painting a picture.
Listen to that.
Yeah. And Ann Smith getting extra careful. Stop it. Gosh, we got to get you off that. Anyway, welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show. And, hey, York TMS Clinic, 1806 North George Street, New York here is one of the great places to go right now if you are looking for some help. A lot of people suffer with depression around the world. In fact, 280 million people, 1 in 5 adolescents experience at least one major depressive episode. And where do you go? You know, a lot of us go to psychologists, psychiatrists. We get medical help. We get medicine, all that kind of stuff. And sometimes you still don't have that balance. But one of the guys who's working for that all the time at York TMS Clinic is Dr. Gracia ATN. And he joins us this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Gary. Good morning, my friend.
And it's great to have you in this morning. But, I just had a lady who wrote me and she said, would you send me the phone number for York TMS Clinic on our text line? Just a moment ago. And so I just sent her the number to give a call to you later on today. So people are looking right now for other ways to help get back to that balance in life. And wellness is such an important part of it, isn't it?
That's correct. Wellness is a big part of it because when we talk about wellness, we don't just talk about physical aspects. So there's the emotional, the spiritual, as well as the physical to consider. We are not just one dimension. We are three-dimension beings.
You know, people want to feel good. As a guy who suffered from depression in life, you can be going along really well. It might be a great day, and things are going on, and all of a sudden, it turns south. It turns into a depression kind of thing for no reason you can think of. And that's one of the things that makes it different from people who say, oh, I'm depressed. You're down about something. If you're Kevin Smith, I lost my wallet today. I'm depressed. That's a different kind of thing. That's something in the moment. This is something more where it can hit you any time. And so we're looking for something to help us, right?
That is correct. I mean, there's a big difference between having a bad time and I usually joke with patients and say that's the difference between mood and attitude. Your mood is something, just very temporary, but when you have an attitude of something, it's like it's deeper and it lasts longer. So we all experience times when the circumstances are not exactly the way we wanted them to be. So no one is asking you to be happy about that. So you can be down a little bit. But what we're talking about right now is just staying in that down state. Staying in that state of mental anguish and sometimes even being paralyzed by it for a much longer period of time. And that's when we're talking about a pathologic response to circumstances of life, and that's when we really need some kind of help with it.
You know, when you look around, and I've had a chance to go get, help over the years because, and now I'm fortunate in a place where it's very manageable now, but back in the day, there were, there were a lot of different ways. You talk about people who went and got electroshock. You got people who went to psychiatrists, psychologists. You got people who take medicine. You have people who went to a lot of different things, and they walk away and they still are it's touch and go. I mean, you're kind of on the edge there sometimes in terms of saying how you feel. And so along comes this TMS kind of treatment. And for people that are really interested in this, by the way, I'll add the visual for you to what we're talking about this morning. Go to Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. You can even find this up on YouTube, by the way, at Gary Sutton. And Dr. Etienne and I did a podcast on this a few weeks ago where I'm actually the patient, and he talks about this and shows you exactly how it works. And you will find out that it's a very non-threatening, non-invasive kind of treatment. But tell people about what the NeuroStar machine actually does here and how effective it has been, Dr. Etienne.
Yeah, Gary, that was a very good introduction to TMS. Again, when we're talking about TMS, we are not saying that there are no other modalities to help with depression. There's psychotherapy, talk therapy, and medications and so on. But each and every one of them have their benefits and side effects and so on. And sometimes they do not work. And so we consider that TMS is a good tool right now to have in your armamentarium when you're dealing with depression. And what TMS is, it's a simple concept based on the fact that when people are dealing with depression, the neurons, which is the cells in the brain, are not really connecting well. They are either dormant or they are deregulating. So by doing repetitive stimulation with magnetic pulses, we found through basic science as well as clinical studies that we've been able to regulate them, and we create the connection, and more importantly, strengthen that connection for longer results. So patients will come back and testify how well they're doing and how much they respond from the treatment.
I saw, for example, on adolescents, 78% improvement in depression symptoms, 48% symptom relief remission. And you've got some numbers that are very similar to that on the adult level as well. But one of the things I wanted to mention this morning, too, we have a lot of veterans that are out there who have gone through war, who have gone through serving in very turbulent times, who have PTSD and things like that. And I know you're making a real move to work with those people. I know people like Bruce Bartz and others have come to you and talked to you about that. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there and maybe why this would be good for people who have PTSD, people who are veterans here who have come home that, there's not enough we can do for them.
Yeah, somehow the results are actually better in adults than in kids.
Right.
Right now, it's 83% success rate with 62% remission rate in adults. Yeah. To answer your question more directly, regardless of the etiology of the depression, regardless of the cause of the depression, there is one common pathway. It's the fact that the cells in the brain, whenever someone is dealing with depression, are either dormant, so they are completely asleep, or they are awake, but they are not regulated, so they're not sending good signals.
Right.
So therefore, PTSD definitely responds to depression, to magnetic stimulation. And you and I have talked about that. Both you and I, we have the veterans population in our heart and how we can help them because, I don't want to sound cliche, but ladies and gentlemen have given a lot for you and me, for us. Yep. So to concentrate on them and trying to help them go through life and be able to manage the circumstances right now, I don't think it's too much to offer to them.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, and again, for adolescents, for vets, for people who who are friends or relatives who are maybe suffering or maybe, they're off balance with this and they're looking for something. This is like another arrow in the quiver, right? I mean, you're just adding something else and you're not no one's dissing anything else. That all these various things, different things will work for different people. But this is something to add to that. And to really be aware of. And again, I know one of the things that you've talked about all the time, Dr. Etienne, is make sure you stop by and get some information, because you have packets of information and you're not afraid to explain to people, show them test results, show them what it looks like when the brain is depressed and when it's not depressed, to tell them about the insurances that take this, to let them know that you don't have to be referred by a doctor. You can self-refer. You can come right in there, and you're right there at 1806 North George Street in York. And people could call you at 717-699-7361 and get more information that way as well. But stop on by, I think, is the great way to do it, and get that information first and foremost. That's really the starting point, isn't it, Dr. Etienne?
That is correct. There are two things that I want to emphasize. The first one is the fact that this is a completely non-invasive technique. I mean, you, like you said earlier, you experience it and sitting in the chair, and you've had the opportunity to actually, with the permission, obviously, to speak with patients while they're going through the treatment. It's just they're sitting in a lounge position. There's absolutely no negative cognitive effect on your ability to finish your day. So there's no issue there whatsoever. And the second one is the fact that, again, no shame. You and I, we are in a crusade. We've stated many times that we enjoy the transfer of knowledge. We enjoy the sharing of that information to people. So swing by. If you know someone who suffers from depression, or if you yourself may think that you suffer from depression, honestly, you owe it to yourself. There's no doubt. You owe it to yourself to actually know about this. I mean, I'm not going to treat anyone like kids. I'm not going to give you metaphor or analogy and so on. But it doesn't make sense that something that can help you is available and you don't even check it out.
Well, we were talking with Kevin Smith just a moment ago about kindness worldwide. I can't think of a better kindness to have than let someone know of an opportunity or a possibility that might work for them. Again, find out by coming in, free evaluation, free talk with Dr. Etienne and Simone, the good people there at the York TMS Clinic. They're at 1806 North George Street right here in York. Again, you can call them at 717-699-7361. 717-699-7361. Get on the phone to them, or stop on by and get that information yourself, somebody else. I'm passionate about this because it's something that I've dealt with my whole life. My family has dealt with it. And I got to tell you, the biggest worry that you have sometimes is thinking, there's nobody out there that can help me. Well, there is something that can help you, and it's right there at York TMS Clinic as a possibility. Check it out today. Dr. Etienne, so appreciate you and all that you're trying to do to help people here in York. Thank you, and I hope people will take advantage of finding out more about York TMS.
Thank you, my friend. We're going to continue to push the issue. We're going to continue to on the crusade.
We will. I couldn't agree with you more. We'll be right there. And again, York TMS Clinic, stop by. They are open during weekdays, 9 to 5, and you can stop in and see them, and they are ready to help you right now. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we've got Dennis Owens right around the corner here on the Gary Sutton Show as we take a look back on the week, all here on WOYK. It sounds like Prince.
It is 1999. Party like it's 1990.
Love this song. Yeah, I really did. Prince is another guy that was kind of unique in terms of songwriting. Yeah,
very talented. Still doing 1983.
Yeah, there it is. That's been a big year this week. So anyway, welcome back to Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Dennis Owens with ABC 27 News. A little bit in the news himself this week. We had Seth Grove on yesterday, who's retiring tomorrow. Actually, today will be his last day, I guess. And Dennis did an interview with me the other day, and he immediately goes out afterward and says, I'm resigning. So there you go, Dennis. It must have been something you said, right?
Well, let's be clear. Seth, I've known Seth for a long time, and the interview was completely cordial and
I'm kidding
fine.
you.
There was no. That is the way it went down. And now the bottom line is, House Democrats were really beating the drum
right
that he needed to step down. I just simply asked him some questions about it, to which he answered them completely cordially, and within 2 hours said, I'm out.
So it looked bad. Looked like. Did you say to him? Was it something I said? No, I know.
I did, but I'm happy you had him on your show. How is he? Because I've reached back out after he announced his resignation and haven't been able to get in touch with him.
Well, I think my impression. Mark might. I don't know if Mark got the same one, but my impression was, he's kind of sad about where the whole atmosphere has gotten to in Harrisburg. He said other people have the same kind of thing, and he said, but they're not called on the carpet for that. But he said, he said, I get it, and it was like he was kind of ready to go, and he wasn't.
Well, I think he's got a pretty good landing spot, and for your listeners that don't know, I mean, he had, as of January 1st, he was continuing to legislate, and announced he wasn't going to run for re-election. Right. So at the end of this year, he was out. And by all observations from the outside, mostly a good government lawmaker through his career. And so he had taken a job with this trade association, which, my eyes glaze over every time I say the name of it, but it's the Aggregate and Concrete Association, statewide association.
Yeah.
But he's the CEO of that as of January 1st, and he's also the chairman of the Labor and Industry Committee in the state house.
Right.
So Democrats are like, look, you could be steering stuff. If there's not a conflict of interest, which they insist there were, there's certainly the appearance of a conflict of interest.
Right.
I think everybody would agree with that.
Yeah, there weren't any charges. There was nothing like that. It was no ethics stuff. No, but there's the appearance of. But again, we know politically that's where people are going right now. And my question to him yesterday, I said after, wouldn't it be interesting now if for other people who are working two jobs, we start to raise those questions about, yeah.
So he gave me a specific that I thought was interesting, but let me back up. There's a bunch of lawyers that have law firms that may or may not be benefiting from state contracts while they're lawmakers, and that's also an appearance of impropriety. But guess what? Lawyers have carved themselves a nice little niche. Lawmakers can't do anything. They can't make any rules regarding lawyers. The only people that can make rules regarding lawyers is the AOPC, that is the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts. And it's a fun little carve-out there, isn't it? That nobody can make rules about us except that group.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Because they're used to, I know there was some talk years ago, hey, how about we pass a law saying lawyers can't, do anything and they're like, no, you can't do anything that touches, and there's court precedent, can't do anything that touches or clips the wings of lawyers. But there's an Allegheny County state representative, we've had him on our show numerous times, Arvind Venkat, who is an ER doc. He's the only doctor, practicing doctor in the legislature. Well, he is always advocating for pro-doctor things in the legislature. He's authoring some laws kind of, pertaining to. Now, none of it, there's no malice in any of it really, but
it's an interest.
You can make the same point.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my point I raised. I said, well, this would be kind of an interesting spark to get started because, rather than play politics, say, okay, now, here's the other thing. Do a lot of Pennsylvanians know that these people are doing something other than just legislate. We kind of figure it's a full-time legislature. We're paying them pretty good. Shouldn't you be focused on that full-time? That was one of my thoughts on it yesterday as well. Hey, one of the other things I saw this week, Stacey Garrity gets Trump's endorsement. Is that a good or bad thing right now in this particular time period? I guess with Trump in charge of pretty much the Republican Party, for Stacey Garrity, that's a good endorsement, but I wanted to get your take on that.
Well, I think the Shapiro campaign loves it, President Trump endorsed Stacey Garrity, because they think the path to victory, and based on the last election, I understand their reasoning, is to link her, and you watch during this campaign,
right.
Listeners, make sure you watch. They're going to link Stacey Garrity to Donald Trump every opportunity they get.
Right.
So that endorsement. But what I found interesting is she got endorsed this week, and I do think the timing is interesting because Josh Shapiro was on a national media blitz, right? Touting his book. He was on a whole number of shows, none of which asked him a tough question. The View and all these types of things, but he's getting his name out there to a national audience, and he does indeed have a book that was released this week. They chose this week to put that endorsement out there. But Stacey Garrity then endorsed a lieutenant governor candidate, a Jason Ritchie out of Pittsburgh. And it's interesting because the couple of people who have announced they're running on the Republican side for lieutenant governor, including State Senator Chris Dush, are Trump-like, very conservative guys.
Right.
Ritchie, not so much. She's a little more moderate, and I think Garrity believes, I've already got the MAGA group. I need to maybe both geographically and philosophically, politically, kind of get somebody that more balances the ticket. Now, I don't know how many people know Jason Ritchie. I have a tendency to want to keep calling him Lionel Ritchie. He is not that. But nonetheless, he did run for governor, dropped out before the primary last time.
Right.
I think on the continuum, I think he's a little more moderate than some of the other people out there, and she's now endorsed him, which you would think that's a huge benefit to him, because she's even calling him her running mate. But remember, in Pennsylvania,
right.
They are elected separately in the primary.
Exactly, and maybe she's trying to widen the base a little bit there. Who knows? Final one, about 1 minute left here. John Fetterman came out the other day and basically said it's time for Kristi Noem to go on all the stuff that's happening in Minnesota, and a lot of people are talking about that. What's your take on what Fetterman had to say this week?
Well, even more significantly, he was direct in his social media post saying, President Trump, fire Kristi Noem. Okay, a lot of people are saying that.
Right.
But he was saying, but I'm still going to vote for the funding package for them because I don't want to see the government shut down. And, oh, by the way, Homeland Security already got $178 billion in the last budget. So you're not going to really hurt them. You're not going to get at them. Well, guess what? When the vote came yesterday, he went back home with the Democrats and he voted no.
Wow.
And that is the first time he has voted against funding. Now, I think he's trying to pass the rest of the budget and maybe put the Homeland Security part under a bigger microscope, or he has some strategy that way. But it's the first time, and he was protested, by the way. I talked to State Senator Tim Carney, who's a Democrat. I know we're running out of time. He's a Democrat. He protested Democrat John Fetterman on Monday saying, do not allow this funding to go through.
There you go.
And Fetterman voted against it.
And they got 2 weeks to figure it out now, too. Apparently, the Senate has done some stuff on that. Dennis, great stuff this morning. Talk to you next week, my friend. Be safe, and we'll talk to you then.
See you later.
Thanks, Dennis. Take care. Dennis Owens, ABC 27 News, all here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. The show continues right after this, coming up on 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth. You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
The final hour of the week here on the Gary Sutton Show. It is 8:05. I just went out, took a little walk across Brooks Robinson Plaza, and I heard my car running. It was unbelievable, Mark. I heard my car running.
What?
The Brooks Robinson statue was in there warming himself up in the car. That's how cold it is out there. It's 0 degrees on Brooks Robinson Plaza, and Brooks was in my car getting the car started with the statue. The kids left. They're hiding across the street in some store. So, it's just unbelievable.
It says 1 degree.
Oh, it's up to 1.
Sunny and warm.
Yeah, what was I thinking about? God, it feels so much warmer at 1 than it did at 0.
You know, it would raise the...
But you are right. It is up to 1 now. I just noticed that.
Yes, you know, it would raise the temperature. Your body temperature.
Right.
Yodeling.
No.
Yodel at your Neighbor Day.
No. Whoever came up with that idea, first of all, if they knew that I had to sit here and hear that, they would have had some pity, some empathy.
Pity?
Pity on me. Empathy with my needs. What about my needs?
Yeah, what about your needs?
Yeah, anyway, our presenting sponsors here, the Gary Sutton Show, are Ann Steinitz Parlor, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street in New York, and they share something with us. We talk about the Main Street of York every day. They are the place where the Main Street of York goes to get legal representation in areas of estate planning, for example, estate administration, family law, like divorce and custody, things like that, elder law, municipal law, military law. Andy Harrell practices in military law. He did that for like 8 years. They just do a great job. And you can give them a call, by the way, today at 717-846-8811. They're located at 117 East Market Street. Beautiful office. In fact, I was amazed how long the office was when I went inside it off the Market Street. You think, these are small offices. They're not. And wonderful people to work with. Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. Call them and tell them Gary Sutton sent you. 717-846-8811 for your legal needs. You people out here on Main Street, York, where we live, this is the kind of place you want to go to. And by Kindness Worldwide today. That's our other presenting sponsor, kindnessworldwide.org. We talked to Kevin Smith this morning. You heard the whole story about losing his wallet and what that did and where that has taken him. See the good, be the good, go the extra mile every single day to find kindness in the situations that you're in. And you have a choice. You do have a choice. So, think about that each and every day. We have a choice to be kind or not to be kind. It's a big part of things. And then Regis Glen Country Club is a sponsor of this hour on the Gary Sutton Show. I'm a member out of Regis Glen, have been there since 2001. My wife and I got married there in 2004 up on the top of the hill there at the Box Hill Club. But they have membership right now at Regis Glen that is so affordable, it's insane. It's insane. I mean, I'm telling you, it's one of the best membership deals you ever have. And the course and the membership and the whole club are really growing right now. So why don't you check that out today by going to regisglen.com, or I've got another idea for you. Call the general manager, Lacey Whalen. Lovely lady. And she will be glad to show you around, give you a tour, take you over to the fairway table, maybe have a little lunch, tell you all about the golf course at Arthur Hills, award-winning golf course, one of the best in Pennsylvania. The amenities that they have there are incredible. Bocce courts. You don't want to be out in those right now. They're lighted at night. I see a lot of people out there during the summer on bocce. I've never done it yet. I've never done bocce yet. I've got to get around to that. I'm Irish. I don't like that Italian kind of thing. But then they have... pickleball courts now. We got tennis courts. They're all brand new.
It's like bowling.
Yeah.
But there is no gutter.
Yeah, thank you.
You'll be great at it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then, we got all kinds of things going on all the time, all kinds of activities. The fairway table, a lot of people gather there for happy hour every day, dinners. I stop by there. It's a happy place. A pool, a workout center, all of that is right there waiting for you right now. Regis Glen at a very affordable price. If you ever thought you couldn't afford to join a country club, think again. Regis Glen is that place you can go right now. Call them at 717-747-1919. They'll be glad to get you a packet. and show you all the membership kinds of possibilities they have, because not just one kind, there's all kinds of memberships that maybe don't even involve golf if you're not a golfer. Regis Glen Country Club. Go to regisglen.com right now. Now, we turn to my friend Jim McClure, who is the author of Never to Be Forgotten, a year-by-year look at York County's past. You can find it, by the way, down at Brown's Orchards in Loganville, and also out here at the York History Center at the corner of Pershing and Philadelphia Avenue. And Jim, a fellow award winner in the area of civility last week, Spirit of Civility Awards. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Doing well, and boy, do we have a Main Street story here today to talk about, Gary.
Yeah, I'm going to turn you loose right now because it's a big story that we want to get out there today. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is your show is all about Main Street, and actually it's about Red Line. Red Line has a main street. They call it Main Street, and if you're not familiar with Red Line, Main Street and Broadway cross in the square there in Red Line.
Right.
And so it's a main street, that's for sure. And one of the big business owners along that street about 100 years ago was a woman. Her name is Catherine Meyer. And so we need to remember her. You don't usually think about 100, 125 years ago that women earned, a property, owned big property around. And Catherine Meyer did. And she came to the United States before the Civil War. She and her husband died in 1865. They had already done some investment in property and so on. From 1865, when he died, till 1919, when she died, she was a dominant figure in Red Line and actually helped form the borough itself in 1880, whenever it formed and was organized. And she owned prime real estate in the community, which fell into Red Line hands. For example, Fairmont Park area and the Red Line Country Club, or the Red Line Community Cemetery, both were in her hands. So here we have someone that owned Main Street property in Red Line, and the interesting thing was when she died in 1919, she could not vote for a presidential election.
Wow.
That came in 1920. So she did all this stuff before she could even vote.
She has been known as the mother of Red Line, from what I understand. Am I correct on that?
That's right. Red Line is interesting because it has not only a mother in Catherine Meyer, but also has a father in Dr. John Hyson. I don't know if another community has really tags their founders in that way, mother and father, but Red Line's unusual in that respect.
She came here as Catherine Denker. She was a native of Oldenburg, Germany, and I understand she was born in 1828, but she married John Dietrich Meyer from the same town, and then they set sail for the United States. They arrive in Baltimore. He starts a store a few miles from Baltimore at a place called 3 Mile House, and then a year later he moved within a couple of miles of Red Line. He operated the store there for 2 years, and then he bought a tract of land from William Reinhardt, and in 1853 bought an additional farm at Sheriff's Sale, right?
Yeah, all that was, they got a good start here in America, and then she continued on. And really the part of the story that we want to make sure we get to, Gary, is that when she died in 1919, her obituary misspelled her name. Whenever the first Red Line history came out in 1930, they spelled her name Catherine with an E instead of Catherine with an A.
Right.
So Catherine should have 2 A's in it. And so it just didn't seem right. This woman who was very much forgotten outside of Red Line, we couldn't even spell her name right in our history books. And so what happened about 100 years later, just in the last couple of years, a couple of researchers in Red Line said, hey, this isn't right. We got to at least spell her name right.
Right.
Because there was an award in Red Line, the Catherine Meyer Award, that went to people that, deserving of it. And the award misspelled her name with 2 E's.
Unbelievable.
1 A and 2 E and an E. So Luann Hildebrand and Lynn Gohn got together and said, look, let's prove that it's spelled Catherine of 2 A's. And they did that. And then Luann went to Red Line Borough Council and said, hey, we've been misspelling her name, including on the award. What are we going to do about that? And, it's a great moment in democracy, because the Red Line Council listened to her and said, yeah, from here on out, we're going to spell her name right.
There you go. And you talk about a lady that had her hand on a lot of things. I saw she was the first postmaster there in 1874 when a post office got established in Red Lion. She occupied that position for 14 years. With the coming of the Peach Bottom Railway's narrow gauge railroad directly through her property, she ensured a railroad stop would happen in town. She erected a building on the site of the present railroad depot and conducted a general merchandise store and a bar room. And the building also housed the post office and the railroad depot all at once. And April 23rd, 1875 marked the opening of this building. She was deeply interested in Red Lion being incorporated into a borough, proved to be a leading figure in that movement. The organization of the Red Lion Cornet Band is attributed to her initiative and financial support as far back as 1877-78. I mean, this lady was out there doing it all, wasn't she?
Yeah, it's hard. You'd be hard pressed to find a woman or a guy in the small town outside of in those days that was so accomplished. And so it's fitting that we at least spell her name right. But an interesting thing, we look at the world's problems, we look at Main Street problems, we go, oh, these are insurmountable. How are we going to make any progress against all these obstacles? Well, maybe the way to do it is what Lynn and Luann, the way they did it was you start really small and you get a little win. And now we'll see what other project they go on to next. But you get a win, and pretty soon you have a movement. And I just think this is a wonderful story for all of us to consider.
One other thing we didn't mention, Jim, is in 1893, she sold 1 acre of her land in what is now known as Fairmont Park. And everybody in Red Lion knows where Fairmont Park is, to the Red Lion Water Company for the erection of a water reservoir. And then in 1920, when she did pass, she passed away, I guess, 1919, 1920, her estate transferred the land to the town. Also, Fairmont Cemetery was surveyed and laid out upon land owned by Catherine Meyer. There you go.
Yeah, obviously she had a good nose for real estate. I mean, that Fairmont Park area, it's not the highest inhabited land in your county, but it's up there in the top 20. So when you're in Fairmont Park, you're as high as many places in your county. There's a wonderful view up there. So she had a good nose up there, and there is still a reservoir up there, interestingly.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a really wonderful park up there, and it's due to Catherine Meyer.
So all you people in Red Lion, pay a little homage to Catherine Meyer today. She was a lady who had an awful lot to do with the fact you're around today, and just a great story about her. And again, finally getting her name spelled right with an A, not an E in Catherine, right?
That's right. 2 A's instead of an A and an E.
And it's a C, not a K, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Good point, Gary. It's interesting that names in those days, and even maybe today, but in those days, we had a lot of Marys, we had a lot of Catherines, and
right.
I think those were named after royalty, like Catherine the Great of Russia,
Queen Mary,
the Marys, and so on. And so those were popular names in the day, but I think part of it came because she was from Germany, and then to Americanize the name, it was, you could go a lot of different directions there. So we got her name wrong in the obituary, but we got her name right on the tombstone. So that's great.
Better late than never. Thank you, and a lady to be remembered here and to be honored in Red Lion. I love that story this morning. That was really good, Jim. Thank you so very much. Where are you going to be in the next couple of days? Can people come out and hang out with you a little bit?
Yeah, Ollie is accepting February 2nd. You can sign up for Ollie classes at Penn State York. Ollie is going to have a big spring term. That catalog is really thick. There's a separate movement, a separate program starting up at York College in the spring. So we're going to have 2 kind of adult education programs, here operating here in York. But the one that is, you can sign up for on February 2nd for members and February 9th for non-members is called Ollie at Penn State York. And I've taught there for many years, and I'm teaching 3 classes this spring there at Ollie at Penn State York. So hopefully folks will sign up for them.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with that, it's OLLI. It's Ollie, and it's right up there at Penn State York. It's been well known for a long time. Good adult ed, continuing education kind of stuff. And if Jim is up there teaching, I'm telling you what, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Great having you in this morning, my friend. Always great to have you aboard, and you just bring so much to the show. And that story today about Catherine Meyer, I think, is really, really neat. Thank you again for sharing.
Absolutely. And next week, Gary, we'll have another interesting story about Alexander Good, Rabbi Good.
Oh, good.
You know, who is the fourth chaplain, as we know, one of the four chaplains
yes.
who sacrificially gave up his life. But we're going to talk about his life before he went into the service, which is really productive. And there's a legacy there we can talk about. Another mainstream story.
Some famous people in York on Main Street, and we'd like to make sure they get the due that they deserve. Jim McClure, thank you so much. Have a great week. Check out Jim's book, Never to Be Forgotten. You can pick it up at the York County History Center at Pershing in Philadelphia, or right down there at Brown's Orchard. Jim, thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
You too. Jim McClure right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more coming your way yet here in the final hour of the Gary Sutton Show on a Friday morning, all here on 98.9 FM and 1350 AM WOYK.
One, two, three, four. Georgia was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it couldn't last. Georgia left his home in Tucson, Arizona, for some California grass. Get back, get back.
It was 57 years ago on this date, 1969, the most popular musical group ever.
The Beatles.
The Beatles made their final public appearance as a group. They performed on the roof of Apple Studios in London.
Right.
They played, I think it was a little more than half an hour. And then neighbors started to complain about the noise. And
people said it's the Beatles. It's not noise. It's the Beatles. My dad always thought it was noise. But
Was it?
Yeah, he did.
That was the end of that.
Our
And-
question, yeah, but man, what a amazing vapor trail of music they left behind. That was incredible. And people, orchestras today play their music. It's incredible when you hear all that now. But back then they were like the kind of like the renegade group a little bit, starting out for a lot of people. Hey, the question we have up today at Gary Sutton Show at Facebook. And by the way, you can also, if you heard right there, we're going to be telling you about that officially on Monday, the Back 9 text line. You can text us throughout the show at 833-478-4729, as Margaret did this morning, asking for the number for the TMS York Clinic. So you can ask for anything. You can comment. But one of the things that we're commenting on today is, where do you go to get news that you can trust now? Is it radio? Is it television? Is it podcasts? Is it newspapers? Where do you go? And I wanted to ask Mark, because Mark's been in news for a long time, about how he'd answer that question this morning. You could answer by going to Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. But Mark, your thoughts?
Comment sections. That's where I go away.
Comment sections. You're right. Okay. Talk about the ultimate op-eds, right? Yeah, there it is.
I'm a legacy guy, so
traditional kind of.
That's it. Yeah. So there are exceptions to that, but you're mixing a number of these things together. It's all about trust.
Yeah.
And anybody who's listening who has clicked on a stupid link on Facebook because of some story, that you read the clickbait is what it's called.
Which I hate.
Yes, you read this and I'm like, what? That couldn't possibly. And then you click on it, and you look at, and I'll always say,
and they take you for 10 minutes on this trail.
It's ridiculous. And then you look at it like, well, who said that?
Right.
Who posted that? Joe Blow thinks podcast forever.
So your antennas go up quick.
And they should. Not even close.
Right.
Like, what? I would never click on something like that. So, they know the whole point is to get you to react.
Right.
That's what information is about today. It's getting you to not think about what you're doing. And if you do that, you can quickly find yourself kind of confused. And, the trying to decide for yourself sometimes, I wonder about that, because it's not that I don't trust people per se, but, what do you know about certain things?
Right. And is it factually based?
Yes.
Is it based on a frame of reference that you have? Is it based on a religion? Is it based on your politics?
All
is it based
kinds
on
of
your
things.
tribe? All that kind of stuff. And there's so much of that goes in right now. I find myself, I've kind of gotten to the point where I see a story and I go, okay, I got to source that out. I mean, I've gotten to be like kind of a news mentality where, I've been in the op-ed business for a long time, really, but where it's been a lot of opinion, but it's always tried to be based on what's true.
Right. You don't want to.
I don't want to go out there and be spreading something that's not true.
Right.
But by the same token, I find myself now looking at everything with kind of a jaundiced eye, so to speak.
And why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because I've seen over the years how many things have not come true out of stories that look like they might be true when you first came upon them.
Right, and it's because the world that we live in, the information world we live in, is now mostly or a lot based on social media. So you never really know what you're seeing
or who you're reading.
Right? Yeah. Is it AI? What is this?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to tell, but sometimes it's not.
Well, and that's the scariest part. You just raised a great specter right there. The idea that AI can now write stories. I mean, that you have this thing out there writing stories that a human being probably didn't even get involved with too much.
Didn't we do that just the other day where
yes, we did.
I did a search and the second thing was wrong.
Yeah.
and I knew it was wrong. So how many, many people may not know that. Oh, by the way.
And some people just buy in. Don't buy in right away. Be a little questioning, be a little bit,
And by the way, I did look up your hat.
My hat. Yes.
Yes.
What is it called?
It is called a flat cap.
A flat cap. Okay.
A flat cap. It's 1920s style, or maybe a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Like golfers would wear them, I guess.
You see a lot of people wear these overseas in England and Scotland and so forth, and somewhat here in our country, but not much. I mean,
not many yodelers.
Yodelers.
I didn't yodel.
I know, but you came dangerous. See, when you mention you like automatically, it's like dangerously close. It's like walking up to the edge. Yeah, I do, and I walk. I'm not one more step, and I'm going to fall off the building. That's kind of where I get with on that. By the way, this hour being brought to you by Regis Glen Country Club. They have no yodeling there. In fact, they're yodel-free zone.
I'll have to talk to, what's her name?
Lacey Whalen. She's the general manager. Yeah, Lacey. I don't think Lacey would allow yodeling there. You could probably be arrested.
I don't know. She's pretty nice.
But she's very nice. She's very nice. So you can call her at 717-747-1919 and ask for her. She's a general manager. I'm telling you why. Because right now they have membership packages that are unbelievably low. I mean, if you ever wanted to join a country club, and this country club is not stuffy. It's a lot of just fun people, good people around. I've been a member there since 2001 with my wife. We were married there, in fact, in 2004, so we love it. But they have golf, the Arthur Hills Golf Club, and I tell you, Arthur Hills Golf design, he's one of the greatest designers in the country. But they also have like a big practice range, a small game practice range with traps and so forth. Wonderful facilities. I mean, well taken care of. I would say the best fairways and greens you're going to find anywhere in York County. And you can go out there right now, and you're not going to play golf there right now, but when the snow gets off there, I'm telling you what, it is well maintained. Kevin does just a great job for us out there, our green superintendent. They got the Fairway Table, a wonderful restaurant. Mark's eating there with us. They have casual food. They've also got some formal food at the same time, but just wonderful service, wonderful people running that. They have a happy hour every afternoon. People are dropping by there all the time from around the community and dropping in, having dinner, and sitting around and meeting friends and having conversation, the kind of stuff I love. They got all kinds of amenities like bocce courts, pickleball courts, tennis courts. They've got just a great place to sit down and maybe enjoy an afternoon, like in the back of the 19th hole. Back of our clubhouse, they have a 19th hole TV up there. You can sit down, have an adult beverage, sit around and gab a little bit. They got events galore. All of that going on at Regis Glen Country Club. Check them out at regisglen.com or call Lacey Whalen, the general manager, for a little tour or get some information. They've got packets of it out there for you. Right now is the time to be a member at Regis Glen. Call them today at 717-747-1919. Ask for Lacey Whalen, the general manager. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Dr. Nick Pantelides, we think, all here on The Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Oh, my.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey.
YOLO. Could you make it stop? Anyway, welcome back. The Gary Sutton Show here, the final half hour of Yodel Day.
Yodeling at your neighbor day.
Yodeling at your neighbor day.
Yes.
Which if you just think about the visual on that for a second. You go outside and you yodel with your neighbor.
How many neighbors are you going to see today?
Well, yeah, but if you yodel at them, what are they going to think of you? I mean, really, I don't.
They will think that you are glad of heart.
It's like that commercial with that guy that his boss is a lady who is a Georgia Bulldog, and he starts making the bulldog sound at the beginning of the commercial.
Oh, yeah, I don't like
that. No, and see, that's the same. I see the same parallel here. I really do. Your neighbor, yodeling at your neighbor. It's like going out and playing a kazoo for your neighbor. I mean, they're going to think you're rounded the bend.
You know, kazoos are just giving everyone an opportunity to have musical talent.
And that is a frightening thing.
Why?
Because there are people that don't have it. There are some people that need to be kept away from those things. Oh, my God. Jeez.
What would you like to hear?
I would like to hear none of that. Neither. Yodeling. See, there's one of those choices. How would you sooner die? And the same thing here. By someone yodeling you to death or someone with a kazooing you to death. I mean, one of the two, it would be horrible. By the way, a busy weekend coming up here on WOIK. High school basketball tonight, New Oxford at Suburban. That's at 7:15. Should be a great game tonight on that one. Both those teams very, very good. And then the Hershey Bears at Rochester Americans will be in progress right after that. They'll pick up on that. Tomorrow, York College basketball doubleheader at Messiah at 1:45. Women, men, doubleheader, and should be a lot of fun there. Listen to that tomorrow, starting at 1:45 here. I'm going to be on tomorrow on the Penn Live feed with Harrisburg High playing against, I believe, Bishop McDevitt. Where am I going to be? Bishop McDevitt playing against Harrisburg High tomorrow. That's going to be an outstanding game, and looking forward to that as well. So, all kinds of things going on right now. With that, we turn this morning to Dr. Nick Pandolidis, a former orthopedic surgeon who has blogged under Dr. Wright. And I was reading an interesting story, Dr. Nick, about universal income. And in Great Britain, they're actually trying this right now, where they're paying people a certain amount of money every month. Now, we've heard about these things before, but because of AI, they're saying, well, we need to make sure that people are taken care of. And so we're going to pay a universal income every month to basically do nothing? Is that it? What do you think about that?
Well,
good morning, Dr. Nick.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well.
I think in general, what has been very harmful to our society is creating dependency. I think people need to be supported who need help. But, as we've talked about many times, it's much better to give a hand to help somebody up rather than just give them a handout.
Right.
I do. Now, one thing that I think along those lines that might be useful would be, if there were some kind of help program,
right,
that would eliminate the countless programs there are, and just distill it down to one program to help the people that need help. So that to shrink government, to shrink complexity, and I think it's key that when you do give people economic help, that you don't create a situation where as they're able to earn income on their own, they hurt themselves more because the assistance they're getting starts to be taken away from them.
I was reading this article in The Independent, which is from the UK, and it actually is a pilot program going on right now in Ireland, and it talked about this 27-year-old woman, Eleanor O'Donovan, and every week, 282 pounds appears in her bank account. Now, she sculpts and she makes films and installations, but the money isn't payment for her work, nor is it a form of a benefit or a gift from a generous benefactor. It isn't means-tested, and it comes with no obligation to produce anything in return. However, she chooses to use it. She can do it up. It's up to her. But she's one of 2,000 artists and cultural workers in Ireland currently participating in a basic income pilot scheme in Ireland. In 2024, visual artists, musicians, filmmakers, writers, actors, dancers, and 13 circus artists were chosen at random by the Irish government from more than 8,000 eligible participants to receive this money each week for 3 years, no strings attached. So in other words, you don't have to produce anything. You don't have to, put any work in on it, anything like that. But I was surprised to see, Dr. Nick, that even since the days of Thomas More, he mentioned this in his book Utopia back in 1516, this idea of a universal income was seen as radical then, by some it's seen as radical now, not to mention unaffordable for people. But it's the most popular model proposes continuing a system of benefits for the likes of housing, child care, disability, alongside universal basic income to ensure nobody would be worse off. And now what's driving this is AI, the artificial intelligence stuff. So UBI would replace parts of the tax system. Most likely the tax-free personal allowance would be removed so people could pay tax on the entirety of their earned income. The idea would be that those on lower to middle incomes would more than recoup this in a universal payment. So again, it's kind of a redistribution thing, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as I said before, I think if there's dangers in making people dependent. This concern about AI taking away jobs, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, and I think really what's going to happen, jobs are going to change. I mean, it may be different this time, but in the past, when we've had huge technological leaps, it's just created other opportunities. But I think it's a real problem when the government is your mom and dad. There's lots of dangers there.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that we've always found has been this, that we've said, oh my gosh, the Industrial Revolution, geez, machines are going to take over. The assembly lines, machines are going to take over. There won't be real people working. And we've always kind of reinvented ourselves to jobs that maybe don't even exist right now, that we don't even know about, but they come up. AI is probably changing faster than any of those things over the years and replacing people at a rapid pace. But the idea of, and I go back to something you said, making us more dependent on the government is to me a frightening thing, because the government, screws things up. I was talking on another show last week about investments. I said, if I want to go invest, the government is not where I invest. They lose money. They're redundant. They waste. I want to go to some place that's going to give me results. And when I can say I'm investing this money, what am I going to get back in the long run? Or I'm investing whatever I'm investing, what am I going to get back? I want to know in specifics. I don't want to just have the government, feeding at the government trough on a regular basis. I think independence is still at the very basis of what our country is all about, is it not?
Absolutely. I think, the other thing is there are lots of ways to improve efficiency.
Right.
And the best thing that we can do for everybody is to strengthen the economy. And the flip side of that is that government debt, which is, trillions and trillions of dollars, at some point, that bill is going to need to be paid, or we need to start moving in another direction. And I think to just coming up with schemes of how to spend more money and make people more dependent, it is not sustainable, for a society in the long run.
No, I agree with you. And I think for us, liberty and freedom are still something that's really important. And liberty and freedom should go to the people to make their choices. And I understand AI is getting into everything. But, right now, I just think anything that goes in that direction of saying, all right, we're guaranteeing this for you, will make us into maybe a lazy rabble here in the long run. I could be wrong on that, but that's my own particular opinion on it right now. I'd like to see something, a lot more information on this come out. But I do think there's going to be other jobs and things that are going to come up in the long run and may make us more able to make it a better society by, innovation and that kind of thing. Your thoughts, final thoughts?
Yeah, anything that drives growth of the economy is going to be good. And, you talked about liberty and freedom. I think ultimately, economic freedom and morality is the foundation for a strong, country and a strong society. And then as problems pop up, try to come up with focused programs to deal with them. But the basic engine and drive of our society should be, a moral society and a society that has economic freedom.
We got a ways to go to get back to some of that, especially on our political stage, but we'll see what happens with that. Dr. Nick, always good talking to you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. It's always good to have you on the show.
Always good to be there.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, Gary, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Have fun with your basketball.
You too. Take care.
Get that zoo away from Mark, for Pete's sake.
Oh, I know.
Holy cow.
I know. Oh my God. It's devastating. Frankly, it's devastating. Thank you, Dr. Nick. Always appreciate your help on that. Dr. Nick Pantelidis here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. I do want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, they're having a sale out at Thomasville Country Auction. And, Monday and Wednesday sales will have new reams of paper for sale coming up this next week, too. But tomorrow, they've got a sale, and it starts at 4 p.m. Now, they do have furniture that's getting sold at 6 p.m. But, they have all of that out there tomorrow, and you can go to thomasvillecountryauction.com right now, hit auction dates, and you will see what's up there. But you can also click their real estate button to find out what kind of real estate they have going on. It is veteran-owned and operated when you talk about Thomasville Country Auction. That's right. But they have got all kinds of sales every other Saturday. Next Saturday sale will be Saturday, January 31st, and that's tomorrow. Antique and collectible sale, and you want to be there. Jack and Cheryl Hooks are a full-time husband and wife auction team, and they have been in the antique business since, ready for this, 1970, and the auctioneer business since 1976, and they're dedicated. They are people who want to make sure they're helping you. They own their own facility right now at 5250 Lincoln Highway, right there at the railroad tracks, Route 30, and we talk about that all the time. But, they're ready to help you right now take care of your merchandise. If you have a sale you want to take care of, call them today at 717-764-5403. Have them come out to your home, take a look at the items that you have, and they will help you to get that sale organized, whether it's 1, 4, 5 sales, whatever it might be. But they will take care of it for you. They can even haul the items from your house to their auction house and then do right by you right out there at Thomasville Country Auction. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you find out about how good they are? And by the way, if you're selling your real estate, Cheryl could do that for you and save you lots of money. And if you have a collection right now to take care of, a collection you want to get rid of, coins, whatever, stamps, whatever it might be, call Jack and Cheryl on that one because they're looking for collections right now for upcoming sales. 717-764-5403. Better yet, head on out there to 5250 Lincoln Highway tomorrow, 4 p.m. They have a sale. It's at Thomasville Country Auction, Route 30 West at the railroad tracks in Thomasville. News time is 8:49. Welcome back. The Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. And final few thoughts this morning. A little fun. News you might have missed. This is news that's not necessarily true. We have a little different spin on it, but some fun nevertheless. We are always up for a little fun here. For example, today is Yodel for Your Neighbor's Day. Now, Mark has been having fun with that all morning this morning. Yodel for Your Neighbor's Day. I don't recommend celebrating it in any state with a stand your ground law. So I just, don't do it. Nicki Minaj, the singer, said criticism of her support for President Trump makes her want to support Trump more. And then she speared a flying bird with her fingernail. After that, Nicki says she's Trump's number one fan, which is obviously a bit of an exaggeration because everyone knows Donald Trump's number one fan is, Donald Trump. Anyway, let's see. Home Depot laid off 800 workers, and yes, they were all hiding in the stockroom when executives tried to find them. Bill and Beatrice Jones of Madera County, California, just celebrated their 80th anniversary. Thank you.
Wow.
Isn't that neat? And they shared their secret of happiness.
What's that?
Hearing loss. Yeah, they said that's what's done it. It's National Fun at Work Day. That explains why ICE agents have replaced their face masks with wacky red clown noses today. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily true. No, but anyway, let's see. Phil Collins turns 75 today. Fun fact: when his allergies act up, he takes Sudafed.
Oh, Sudafed. Oh, jeez. No, you shut up.
Now the only thing he feels coming in the air tonight is an early bedtime. Yeah, that's him.
I get it.
Let's see what else we have here. Happy Gilmore 2 was the most streamed live-action movie of 2025. This makes me worry more about the end of the world than War with Iran.
Me too.
So, yeah, that's it. Let's see. Thomas the Tank Engine, you know that, is being rebooted with a bold new look. For instance, instead of a smokestack, he now has a vape pen. So he's got that. Let's see what else we have. A Chia Pet movie is in the works. You know, a Chia Pet movie is in the works.
Oh, what a great idea.
I suspect, I'm just thinking to myself here, it'll be the kind of thing where it seems really stupid at first, but then it grows on you.
Is that right?
Then it grows on you.
I get it. You shut up.
The Chia Pet, yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
7% of Americans will watch every day of the Winter Olympics. The same percentage have sex dreams about Mike Tirico. So, yeah, it's probably not the same thing.
No.
Let's see. Tom Brady slammed Bill Belichick's Hall of Fame snub. Terry Bradshaw was at a loss for words, too, but what's new there? And then the Cleveland Browns hired Todd Monken. I think he was the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, right? Mm-hmm. They hired Todd Monken as their head coach. This just in, the Cleveland Browns fired Todd Monken as their new head coach. So there you go. Just some news you might have missed, Mark.
So speaking of hires, Philadelphia hiring Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion as their new offensive coordinator. Right. Do you have an opinion about that?
No, I don't know who Sean Mannion is, so I don't really...
You know, he played for a couple of years. I remember him when he was in the league as a backup, and, he certainly has done a good job.
Was it he? Didn't he help them to win? Oh, I don't know. Was it the Lombardi Trophy last year?
No, the Packers didn't win last year, but...
No. But I mean, didn't the guy that got fired, didn't he help to win that last year? See what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. Yes.
What I'm going after.
Well, they've done this, I think the last 2 or 3 have only worked like 2 years.
Yeah.
And the first year was good. The second year was not good.
Not so good.
But this Mannion guy, did a pretty good job with Jordan Love and also Willis. They got him from...
In the NFL right now, it's what have you done for me lately?
That's it.
That's all it is at the moment. By the way,
it's Croissant Day, by the way, for food holiday. So have that today and be
I had mine.
Elegant.
Yeah. By the way, the Winter Olympics are a week away. 30% of people don't care, we found out. Believe it or not, it's the Olympics time again. And the Winter Olympics kick off in Italy next Friday. So we're just 1 week away. And they run through February 22nd. A new poll asked more than 9,000 Americans now how amped they were, and generally the excitement is, 7% of people say they will tune into every single day. Another 70% say they'll watch whenever they can. 33% say they'll probably watch a few events, and another 30% said they aren't planning to watch any at all.
The timing is perfect because
the blowout time of the year.
Well, and it's right when the Super Bowl happens. So once the Super Bowl, people will be looking for something new to gravitate since the NFL will be over.
I saw an interesting list today, Mark. The top 5 signs you're way into the Winter Olympics too much.
Oh, okay.
For example, you have a tattoo of Tara Lipinski, the figure skater.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe into it a little bit.
Yeah, it's well.
After sex, you wait for the judges' scores. Man, you might be into the Olympics a little too much with that. I'm just saying. I don't know. You show up to work in a bobsled. Your fashion philosophy is an outfit can't have too many sequins. Okay, that's yeah.
Yes.
You watch. No. You named your 3 kids Axel, Lutz, and Salchow. Okay, Salchow.
Salchow.
Yes. Yeah. You attached a ski helmet to your head surgically. You might be in the Olympics a little too much. You replaced your iPhone flashlight with a torch.
No.
Yeah, you climax when you hear a starter pistol. And you actually signed up for Peacock. You know you're in the Olympics way too much if you actually signed up for Peacock on your stream.
Hey, so a couple of interesting little facts.
Finally.
Did you know that there's a city in Scotland called Dull?
I did. I actually did.
So you knew about Dull, Scotland.
Well, I went through it when I was there, and I'm telling you what, you talk about people who don't have a whole lot to say.
Do you know
Dull.
what its sister city is?
No.
Boring, Oregon.
Okay.
How's that?
That's very good.
It all works.
By the way, this hour has been brought to you by Regis Glen Country Club. Check them out at regisglen.com. And I got to tell you, best prices ever for a membership right now. Call up Lacey Whalen, our general manager, 717-747-1919. That's 717-747-1919. Get a packet. Get a tour. It is ready to let you join at the best prices ever. It's a great place. About 7 minutes from here, just off Indian Rock Dam Road, Regis Glen Country Club. Thanks to Mark. Thanks to all of you for tuning in this week. It's been a fun week. I'm looking forward to getting back together with you Monday morning, all here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 9 o'clock.